The heels of my shoes click against the marble floor of the lobby. It's 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. I'd just finished a 14-hour shift at Horizon Brands. The lobby is empty and smells like industrial cleaner. I check my phone. No missed calls, no texts. The elevator doors open. I look at my reflection in the mirror. Claire Chandler, 32 years old today. My green eyes look tired. I've spent my life building other people's reputations, but tonight I feel like a ghost. I get to my apartment door and unlock it. The small cake I bought this morning is still on the coffee table, one unlit candle. Happy birthday to me, I say to the walls. I drop my briefcase and kick off my shoes. I'm about to open my laptop to work more, but I check Facebook instead. The first post is my brother, Henry. He's holding a glass of champagne. Behind him is a banner, "Congratulations on your promotion." My dad, Jefferson, has his arm around Henry's shoulder. My mom, Angelica, is beaming at him. The photo was posted 4 hours ago. I scroll down. The whole family is there. My sisters, Cassandra, Alma, and Trix, my cousins, everyone is smiling at Henry. "So proud of our superstar," Dad wrote. "The family legacy continues," Mom added. They didn't forget my birthday. They just didn't care. Memories hit me like a physical weight. Being left at a restaurant at age 11 while they went to Henry's debate. Being sent to Grandma's while they took Henry to Yale. My college graduation being ignored because Henry got engaged. My phone buzzes. It's a notification from work. My performance bonus for the Horizon campaign just cleared, $82,000. Then the phone rings. It's Mom. "Hello," I say. I hate how hopeful I sound. "Claire, darling, I'm glad I caught you. We're planning a party for Henry and Jessica's anniversary next month. I need you to handle the catering and the decor. You're so good at that." I look at the clock. It's midnight. My birthday is over. "Mom," I say, my voice flat, "today was my birthday." There's a long pause. Oh, honey, with Henry's big promotion, it just slipped our mind." Slipped their mind. Always. "Don't worry about it, Mom," I say. I look at the 82,000 on my screen. I finally understand what's important to this family. I hang up. A heavy weight leans against my leg. I look down into the wrinkled face of Cooper, my pain Corso. He's a 100-pound beast of black muscle, but right now he just rests his massive head on my knee. He huffs, a low sound of comfort. He's the only one who realized I was sitting in the dark. "At least I have you, Coop," I mutter. I scratch behind his ears. He's not going anywhere. Neither am I. Not until I've settled the score. What would you do if your family forgot your birthday to celebrate someone else? Let me know in the comments and subscribe.
4 days later, I'm at my desk at Horizon Brands when my phone chirps. It's an invite to a group chat. Mom must have added me by mistake while trying to reach one of my sisters. The name of the chat is Henry's Big Year. I scroll through the messages. My eyes burn. "Claire should pay for the anniversary gift," my dad, Jefferson, wrote. "At least $20,000. She's single. She doesn't have expenses." She just got that bonus, too. About time Claire supports the family. She spelled my name wrong. Clare. One I missing. My own mother can't be bothered to spell my name correctly in a thread where they're planning how to spend my money. Cooper is lying under my desk, his chin resting on my feet. I can feel the steady rise and fall of his chest. He's the only thing keeping me from throwing my phone across the room. I reach down and bury my fingers in his thick, dark fur. "They have no idea, Coop," I whisper. The office door opens. It's my boss, Lawrence. He looks at me with actual respect. "Claire, the Westfield numbers are in. You didn't just meet the goal, you smashed it. That bonus was the least we could do." "Thank you, Lawrence," I say. As soon as he leaves, the phone in my hand vibrates. It's Henry. I answer it. "Hey, Claire," he says, not even asking how I am. "I need a favor. I saw you have a connection at Regent Tech. I need their marketing director's personal email for a deal I'm closing. Family helping family, right?" I look at Cooper. He looks back at me with those golden, serious eyes. He knows a predator when he hears one. I'll see what I can do, Henry, I say. My voice is cold, but he's too self-absorbed to notice. That evening, I don't go home. I drive to a small apartment on the other side of town to visit Mrs. Bennett. She's 84 and has more heart than my entire bloodline. Cooper sits in the back seat, his head out the window, guarding the car like it's a fortress. "You look like you've seen a ghost, Claire," Mrs. Bennett says, handing me a tea. I tell her everything. The ignored birthday, the group chat, the $20,000 they want to take from me. "Some people only see you as a ladder to help them climb higher," she says, patting my hand. "Maybe it's time you moved the ladder." I leave her place with a clear head. On the drive back, I pass a sign for a real estate office. I don't go to the family dinner they invited me to. I go home, sit on the floor with Cooper, and start searching for properties 3 hours away. If they want me to support the family, they're going to be disappointed. I'm moving the ladder.
Saturday evening arrives. The family mansion on Lakeshore Drive is lit up like a stage. Inside, Angelica is adjusting the silk runners on the table, while Jefferson pours a scotch. Henry, Cassandra, Alma, and Trix are already there, laughing. I walk in, and the room goes quiet for a second. Cooper isn't with me. I left him home where it's safe, but I can still feel the phantom weight of him against my leg. It gives me strength. "Claire, finally," Dad says. He doesn't offer a hug, he just motions to my seat. Dinner is a performance. They talk about Henry's promotion for 40 minutes. They talk about Cassandra's new car. They talk about Alma's vacation. I eat in silence. Then the main course is cleared. Dad leans forward. "Claire, we need to discuss your contribution to Henry's anniversary. 20,000 should cover the venue. Since you got that bonus, it's only fair." "No," I say. The clinking of silverware stops. Mom looks like I just slapped her. "What did you say?" I said, "No, I'm not giving Henry $20,000. "Don't be selfish," Trix snaps from across the table. "Family supports family." "When did any of you support me?" I ask. My voice is steady. "You forgot my 32nd birthday last week. You were too busy celebrating Henry's promotion, a promotion he got by using my business contacts without asking." Jefferson's face turns a dark shade of red. "I will not have this ingratitude at my table. You are lucky to be part of this legacy." "I'm not a part of it," I say, standing up. "I'm the bank, and the bank is closed." I walk out before they can start the screaming match. I get into my car, my hands shaking on the wheel. When I get back to my apartment, Cooper is waiting by the door. He lets out a low, concerned huff and nudges my hand with his cold nose. I sit on the floor and pull him close. "We're leaving, Coop." I open my laptop. I find the lake house in Michigan I saw online. 4 bedrooms, private dock, surrounded by trees. I click Contact Agent. The next morning, I call a realtor. By Monday, I've put on a deposit. I don't tell Mom. I don't tell Dad. I don't even tell my sisters. I start packing my life into boxes. Every time my phone buzzes with a guilt trip text or a demand from Dad, I just look at Cooper. He's watching me pack, his tail wagging slowly. He knows something is changing. The difficult daughter is about to disappear, and she's taking her $82,000 with her. 2 weeks later, the Michigan Lake House is officially mine. I sign the papers in a sterile office, but the keys in my hand feel like a weapon. I drive back to my apartment one last time to load the final boxes into my SUV. Cooper is already in the back, his massive head resting on a pile of blankets. He's been restless, watching the furniture disappear, but as soon as the engine starts, he settles. He knows we're going somewhere where there's room to run. My phone vibrates in the cup holder. It's Angelica. I ignore it. Then Jefferson calls. I ignore that too. By the time I hit the state line, I have 12 missed calls and a flurry of texts in the family group chat. "Claire, where are you? Henry needs those tech contacts finalized today." "The caterer needs the deposit, Claire. Pick up your phone."
I pull over at a rest stop and finally type a response. I'm not paying for the party and I'm not giving Henry my contacts. Good luck. I leave the group chat and block their numbers. The silence in the car is the loudest thing I've ever heard. When we arrive at the lake house, it's late afternoon. The water is a deep, bruised blue, and the pine trees smell like freedom. I let Cooper out, and he charges onto the grass, his heavy paws thumping against the earth. He stops at the edge of the water, barking once, a deep, booming sound that echoes across the lake. "It's ours, Coop," I say, breathing in the cold air. I spend the next few days in a blur of hardware stores and heavy lifting. I paint the master bedroom a soft gray. I set up a desk by the window overlooking the water. I'm 32 years old, and for the first time, I don't have to check a calendar to see whose event I'm supposed to be funding. On Thursday, I'm sitting on the deck with a coffee when a car pulls into the long driveway. It's not a BMW or a luxury sedan. It's a beat-up silver hatchback. Mrs. Bennett climbs out, clutching a Tupperware container. "I thought you might need some actual food," she says, smiling, "and I wanted to see if the air was as sweet up here as you promised." I realized then that I didn't just leave my family. I brought the only person who actually saw me. But the peace doesn't last. That evening, I check my work email. There's a message from Henry. He didn't use his work account. He used a burner. "You think you're smart, Claire?" Dad is furious. He's talking to a lawyer about the loans they gave you for college. "You're going to pay us back one way or another." I look at Cooper, who is snoring at my feet. I don't feel the old familiar panic. I feel a cold, hard resolve. I have the receipts, I have the bank statements, and I have $82,000 that says I'm not going anywhere.
The next morning, I don't call a lawyer. I call my bank. I spend 3 hours downloading every statement from the last 10 years. I find exactly what I'm looking for. Every time I sent money to Angelica for emergencies, every time I covered Henry's rent when he was between ventures, every loan for my college was paid back to Jefferson 3 times over in the form of unpaid labor and forced contributions. I print it all out. The paper trail is a mile long. Cooper sits by my feet, his weight anchored against my shins. He can sense my adrenaline. He lets out a low, protective growl when the printer whirs, but I pat his head. "It's okay, boy. Just paper." I spend the afternoon on the deck organizing the files. The lake is calm, but my mind is a storm of strategy. If they want to play dirty, I'll show them how a senior PR executive handles a crisis. Around 4 p.m., my phone rings from an unknown number. I answer it. "Claire," it's Cassandra. Her voice sounds shaky. "Dad is serious. He's already drafted a demand letter for $50,000. He says it's for backdated family expenses. You need to just come home and apologize. Give him the money and this all goes away." "I don't have a home there anymore, Cassandra," I say, "and tell Jefferson if he sends that letter, I'm sending my own. I have the records of the money I've funneled into his accounts since I was 22. If he wants to talk about debts, we can talk about them in front of a judge." "You're being a monster," she whispers, "over a birthday?" "It was never about the birthday," I say. "It was about the fact that I had to buy my own seat at the table and you guys still treated me like a guest." I hang up and block that number too. That night, the wind picks up, rattling the pine branches against the roof. Cooper won't leave the bedside. He stays standing, facing the door. Even in the dark, his silhouette is massive and intimidating. I realize I'm waiting for them to show up. I'm waiting for Henry to drive 3 hours just to scream at me. I'm waiting for the guilt to finally break me. But it doesn't. I fall asleep listening to the waves hitting the dock. Friday morning brings a different kind of visitor. I'm in the yard with Cooper when a black SUV pulls up. My heart stops for a second, thinking it's Dad. But the man who steps out is wearing a casual Henley and jeans. It's Mark. "Found you," he says, holding up a bottle of wine. "Lawrence said you moved to the middle of nowhere. I figured you need a hand." He looks at Cooper, who is standing tall. Mark stays back, showing respect. "That's a lot of dog, Claire." I call Cooper to my side. He's the only one I trust. Mark helps me move the last of the furniture. We talk about work, about the city, and for the first time in years, a man looks at me and sees my talent, not my bank account. But as the sun sets, I see a familiar car turning onto the dirt road, a silver BMW. Henry. He didn't bring a lawyer, he brought himself, and he looks like he's ready for a fight.
Henry kills the engine, but the headlights stay on, cutting through the Michigan dusk. He steps out, slamming the door. He's still wearing his office suit, but his tie is crooked. He looks like a man who's losing his grip. Cooper is off the porch in a second. He doesn't bark, he just stands 10 feet from Henry, his chest broad, a low vibration humming in his throat. It's a warning. Henry stops dead. "Get that dog away from me, Claire!" Henry yells, his voice cracking. "He lives here, Henry. You don't," I say, stepping to the edge of the deck. I keep my hands in my pockets. "Why are you here?" "Dad's losing it. The Petersons and the Carsons are asking why you weren't at the anniversary planning. Mom is telling everyone you're unwell, but people are starting to talk." He takes a shaky step forward, then stops when Cooper's growl sharpens. "You need to sign a statement, just a quick post for the family page. Say you're on a private retreat and that you've donated to the anniversary fund." I lean against the railing. "No." "Listen to me." He's sweating now. "I need that Regent Tech lead. My boss is asking why the meeting hasn't happened. If I don't get that CMO in the room by Monday, my promotion is on the line. You're ruining everything." I look at him, truly look at him. For 30 years, I thought he was the sun and I was just a rock reflecting his light. But in the dim light of the lake, he just looks desperate. That's the real impact of your finance career, right? Depending on your little sister's advertising contacts to keep your job? "Just give me the email, Claire." "I already sent an email, Henry, but not to you." He freezes. "What?" "I sent a note to the Regent Tech CMO this morning. I told him that an individual, my brother, might try to leverage my name to gain access. I told him our professional relationship is strictly between he and me, and that any outreach from the Edwards family is unauthorized." Henry's face goes pale. "You blackmailed me?" "I protected my brand. Isn't that what Dad taught us? Protect the legacy." I pull my phone out and tap the screen. And there's more. I've spent 10 years managing the Edwards family image. I'm the one who buried the story when you crashed Dad's car. I'm the one who handled the PR when Dad's firm got sued. I have the files, Henry. All of them. "You wouldn't," he whispers. "I've already drafted the press release. It outlines the pattern of financial coercion and emotional abuse within the venerable Edwards family. It includes the screenshots of the group chat where you all discussed how to harvest my bonus." I whistle once. Cooper turns and trots back to my side, sitting heavy on my feet. I feel like a queen on a throne made of pine and cold water. "Go home, Henry. Tell Jefferson and Angelica that if I hear from a lawyer or if one more person calls me unwell, I hit send. You can keep the legacy. I'm keeping the truth." Henry stares at me, then at the massive dog, then at the dark woods. He realizes he has no cards left. He turns around, gets in his car, and peels out, kicking up gravel that hits the trees like hailstones. The silence that follows is beautiful. The weekend passes in a silence I didn't know was possible. No phone calls, no frantic texts. It's like the Edwards family has finally learned that I'm radioactive. I spend Saturday morning on the dock with Cooper.
He's obsessed with the ripples in the water, his massive head cocked to the side every time a fish jumps. Watching him, I realize how much energy I used to waste trying to be small so Henry could feel big. Cooper doesn't try to be anything other than 100 pounds of muscle and loyalty. "Good boy, Coop," I mutter, scratching the thick skin of his neck. On Monday, the first blow lands, but not on me. I'm drinking coffee when I see a LinkedIn notification. Henry Edwards has updated his profile. He's no longer a senior associate at his firm. He's open to work. It seems my email to the Regent Tech CMO worked faster than I expected. Without my advertising contacts to pad his portfolio, Henry's bosses realized he was all suit and no substance. He didn't just lose the lead, he lost his seat at the table. Around noon, a car I don't recognize pulls up. It's a modest sedan. Alma and Cassandra step out. They aren't wearing their usual designer heels. They look like they've been arguing the whole drive. I stay on the porch. Cooper stands at the top of the stairs, a silent gatekeeper. "We're not here to fight, Claire," Alma says, keeping her distance from the dog. We wanted to know if what Henry said is true. About the files, about the press release." "It's true," I say. "Dad is losing his mind. The firm's partners are asking questions. Henry got fired this morning. Mom won't stop crying because the Petersons canceled their brunch. You're destroying everything we've worked for." "I'm not destroying anything. I'm just stopped holding it all up. If the family legacy falls apart because I stopped paying for it and lied for it, then it wasn't much of a legacy to begin with." "What do you want? Money? Do you want us to pay you back for the birthdays?" "I don't want your money. I have my own. I want you to go back and tell Jefferson and Angelica that the price of my silence is total disappearance. I want my name removed from the family trusts. I'm changing my last name to my grandmother's maiden name, Chandler." "You're disowning us?" Cassandra looks shocked. "I'm fireproofing my life. If you try to sue me or drag me back into your drama, the files go public. If you leave me alone, you get to keep what's left of your reputation. That's the deal." They look at each other. For the first time, they don't look like the perfect sisters. They look like two people realizing the ship is sinking, and the only person who knew how to plug the holes is standing on the shore. They leave without another word. I walk back inside and open a new document on my laptop. It's a draft for a new PR firm, Chandler Communications. No more hiding in the background. No more being the difficult daughter. Cooper lets out a long sigh and flops onto his rug. He's satisfied. So am I.
The transition is smoother than I expected. For the next week, the only sound in the lake house is the scratching of my pen and the heavy breathing of Cooper as he naps by the fireplace. I officially file the paperwork to change my name. Claire Edwards is dying. Claire Chandler is being born. It feels like shedding a skin that was 3 sizes too small. On Wednesday, a courier arrives. He looks intimidated by the sheer size of Cooper, who stands like a statue on the porch, but I take the envelope. Inside is a legal document from my father's attorney. Jefferson has agreed to the terms. I am being removed from the family trust. In exchange, I sign a non-disclosure agreement regarding the files. They've chosen their reputation over their daughter. It's the most honest thing they've ever done for me. "Look at this, Coop," I say, showing the dog the paper. "We're officially ghosts." Cooper just nudges the paper with his nose and trots toward the back door. He wants to go to the woods. I grab my coat and follow him. We spend the afternoon hiking the trails behind the house. Cooper is in his element here, his massive paws crushing dried leaves, his eyes tracking every movement in the brush. He isn't a city dog anymore. Neither am I. When we get back, there is one last piece of the old life waiting for me. An email from Trix. Henry is moving back into his old room. Mom and Dad are fighting about the mortgage.
They had to sell the Lake Forest property to cover the anniversary debts. I hope you're happy in your woods, Claire. You've ruined us. I don't feel guilty. I don't feel sad. I feel light. I delete the email and empty the trash folder. That evening, I sit on the deck with a glass of wine. The lake is perfectly still, reflecting the first few stars. The house is warm behind me, filled with furniture I picked out and paid for with my own sweat. My phone rings. It's an unknown Michigan number. Hello? Is this Claire Chandler? A woman's voice asks. I'm calling from the Traverse City Business Bureau. We saw your filing for a new communications firm. Your portfolio is impressive. I smile. The real impact is finally beginning. This is she, I say, my voice firm and clear. I'd love to talk. As I talk through the strategy, Cooper rests his chin on my thigh. His weight is a constant, grounding force. I'm 32, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and for the first time in my life, I'm not waiting for anyone to tell me I've done a good job. I already know.
The workload for Chandler Communications picks up faster than the Michigan winter. I'm deep in strategy meetings, building a client list that doesn't know the name Edwards. It's clean, it's professional. Cooper has become my unofficial COO. He sits in on every Zoom call, his massive head occasionally appearing in the frame. Clients love him. They call him the enforcer. He keeps me grounded when the old habit of overworking starts to creep back in. When he decides it's 5 p.m., he drops a heavy rope toy on my laptop. Work stops, Cooper wins. But the past has a way of scratching at the door. In late October, a package arrives. No return address, but I recognize the handwriting. It's from Alma. Inside isn't a letter or a bomb, it's a stack of printed photographs. They are photos from Henry and Jessica's anniversary party, the one I refused to fund. The images are grim. It's not the high society event they dreamed of. It's a small, cramped gathering in the backyard of the mansion. The catering looks like grocery store platters. Jefferson looks 10 years older. Angelica isn't smiling, she's staring at the camera with eyes that look hollow. There's a note on the back of the last photo. We had to do the catering ourselves. Henry is working as a junior clerk. Dad sold the Scotch collection. Are you satisfied yet? I look at the photos, then I look at my living room. I've just finished installing a custom stone hearth for the fireplace. The air in my house smells like cedar and expensive coffee. Are you satisfied, Coop? I ask. Cooper looks at the photos, huffs a breath that blows the top one off the table, and then goes back to chewing his bone. He doesn't care about their downfall. He only cares about the here and now. I realize then that Alma sent these hoping I'd feel the weight of their misery. She wanted me to realize that by winning, I'd lost my family. But as I toss the photos into the fireplace and watch the flames lick at Henry's smug face, I don't feel loss, I feel relief. The fire burns bright and hot. The Edwards legacy is turning into ash in my living room, and for the first time, I'm the one controlling the heat. Later that night, my phone chimes. It's an alert from a local news site. Edwards and Associates facing internal audit. It seems that without my constant PR firefighting, the small cracks in Jefferson's business dealings have turned into craters. I pour a glass of wine and watch the snow start to fall over the lake. I'm not the monster in their story. I was just the only thing holding their world together, and they forgot to think the glue. The audit news spreads fast. Within 48 hours, the Edwards name is no longer synonymous with prestige in Chicago. It's synonymous with scandal. I'm at my kitchen island working on a proposal for a regional vineyard when my doorbell rings. It's not a courier this time. I look through the side window and see a woman standing on the porch, wrapped in a trench coat that looks too thin for the Michigan wind. It's Trix. I open the door, but I don't move back to let her in. Cooper is at my side instantly. He doesn't growl, but he plants his front paws firmly, his 100-pound frame blocking the hallway. Trix looks at him and pales. He's huge, Claire, she whispers. He's protective, I say. What are you doing here, Trix? How did you find me? I followed Mark's car when he left the city last weekend. I had to. She looks exhausted. Her eyes are darting around my house, taking in the high ceilings and the expensive finishes. Everything is gone, Claire. The firm is under investigation. Dad's assets are frozen. They're going to lose the mansion. I saw the news, I say. My voice is flat. Mom is in bed. She won't get up. Henry is drinking. He says this is all your fault because you poisoned the well with Regent Tech. She steps forward, her hand shaking. Please, you have the skills. You know how to fix a crisis. Just one press release. If you help us, Dad says he'll reinstate your trust. He'll even double it. I look at my sister. She's still playing the same game. A bribe wrapped in a tragedy. I don't want the trust, Trix. I already told you that. But we're family, she cries. You're really going to watch us go broke? You're going to let Mom lose her home while you sit here in this palace? It's not a palace. It's a house I bought with the bonus Jefferson said I didn't deserve. And I didn't lose the mansion for her. Her husband's bad business and her son's incompetence lost the mansion. I just stopped being the one to lie about it. Cooper lets out a sharp, single bark. Woof! It's loud enough to make Trix jump back. I can't help you, I say. I don't work for the Edwards family anymore. I don't even have that name. You're cold, she says, her lip curling. You're just like him, just like Dad. No, I say, and for the first time, I smile. Dad takes. I just stopped giving. There's a difference. I close the door. I don't lock it because I'm not afraid, but I stay there for a moment, listening to her heels retreat down the wooden steps. I go back to my laptop. I have a new email from a law firm in Detroit. They heard I was the one who handled the Edwards exit so cleanly. They want to hire me to consult on their most difficult reputation cases. I reach down and scratch Cooper's chest. Looks like we're in demand, Coop. The family is falling. I am rising. And the lake is as calm as it's ever been.
The first snowstorm of the season hits in early November. The lake house is tucked under a thick white blanket, and the world outside is silent. Inside, the fire is roaring. Cooper is stretched out on the rug, his paws twitching as he dreams. I'm finalizing the contract for the Detroit law firm when my phone rings. It's an official number from Chicago, a hospital. I hesitate, then answer. Is this Claire Chandler? The administrator asks. We have you listed as the secondary emergency contact for Angelica Edwards. Your sisters weren't answering. What happened? I ask. My heart doesn't race. It just thuds, heavy and slow. A nervous breakdown, followed by a minor fart event. She's stable, but she's asking for you. She says you're the only one who can save the house. I look at the fire. I look at Cooper. Even now, at her lowest point, it's not about me. It's about the house. It's about the status. It's about the save. Tell her I hope she recovers, I say, but I'm not coming. Ma'am, the family is in the lobby. They're quite overwhelmed. Your brother is in a physical altercation with security. That sounds like Henry, I say, but I am no longer their contact. Please remove me from the file. I hang up. 10 minutes later, the texts start. They must have used a hospital landline to bypass the block. Mom is dying because of you, Alma writes. The bank is foreclosing on the mansion on Monday. If you don't sign as a guarantor, we're on the street, Jefferson sends. I don't reply. I open my banking app. I look at the $82,000 bonus that started all of this. Most of it is gone now, invested into this house, into my business, into my future. I could save their mansion. I could be the superstar one last time. But then I'd be back in the cage. I walk over to the window. In the distance, I see a figure walking towards my house through the snow. It's a man, head down, shoulders hunched. Henry. He must have driven straight from the hospital. He reaches the porch and starts pounding on the door. "Claire, open the door! I know you're in there!" Cooper is up in a second. He stands in front of me, his hackles raised, his tail stiff. He's a wall of black muscle between me and the ghost of my past. "Go away, Henry!" I shout through the glass. "Mom's sick! We're losing the house! You have the money, you selfish bitch! Sign the papers!" He kicks the door. Bang! Cooper lets out a roar, a deep, predatory sound that vibrates the floorboards. He lunges at the door, slamming his weight against the wood. Henry screams and falls back off the porch into the snow. I walk to the door and open it just an inch. Cooper is straining at my side, his eyes fixed on Henry. "The money is gone, Henry," I say. "I spent it on my own life. There is no one left to save you." "You're a monster!" he gasps, clutching his arm in the snow. "No," I say. "I'm just a Chandler now, and we don't know any Edwards." I close the door and lock it. I watch him through the window as he limps back to his car. He stays in the driveway for a long time, waiting for the girl who used to apologize to come running out. She never does.
The final morning of the year arrives with a stillness that feels like a benediction. The snow has stopped, leaving the Michigan landscape draped in a clean, heavy white. Inside the lake house, the only sound is the crackle of the fireplace and the rhythmic thud of Cooper's tail hitting the floor. He's lying in a patch of winter sunlight, looking content. He's no longer a city dog guarding a stressed-out woman. He's a partner in a quiet life. I sit at my desk, opening my laptop. The morning news from Chicago is on the front page of the business section. Edwards Mansion sold at auction. Former finance mogul Jefferson Edwards files for bankruptcy. There's a photo of the house, the stone pillars, the Lakeshore Drive address. It looks cold, empty. I scroll down. Henry was arrested for a DUI. Angelica has moved into a small apartment. The legacy didn't just crumble, it vanished. I feel a brief flicker of something, not joy, but a deep, settled peace. The debt is finally paid. Not the money they thought I owed them, but the debt I owed myself for 32 years of silence. My inbox pings. It's an email from a major tech firm in California. "We saw your work on the Traverse City launch. We need someone who can handle high-stakes reputation management. We heard you're the best in the Midwest. Are you taking new clients?" I look at the name on the signature line. They addressed it to Claire Chandler. "Ready to go back to work, Coop?" I ask. Cooper stands up, stretches his massive front legs, and lets out a wide yawn. He trots over to the door and waits. He doesn't need me to tell him what's next. He knows the routine. I put on my heavy coat and boots. I grab my keys, the keys to a house that belongs to me, a car that belongs to me, and a life that no one else has a claim to. I walk out onto the porch. The air is so cold it stings my lungs, but it feels wonderful. I look out over the frozen lake, a vast white mirror reflecting a sky that is finally clear. The Edwards family spent their lives trying to make me a shadow in their story. They never realized that without me to cast the shadow, they'd be left in the dark. I whistle and Cooper leaps off the porch, his heavy paws carving a new path through the fresh snow. I follow him, walking steady and sure. I'm not looking back. There's nothing left behind me but ash. Ahead, there is only the woods, the water, and the name I chose for myself. The end.